Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, you remember that in our last video I began working on the pool. I basically got the cover off of it because the cover got pretty much destroyed in the storm that happened last week. I also discovered that the water level had dropped quite a bit, which I knew had kind of happened, and the pool was kind of a mess. There's a lot of problems. I basically lost control before I put the cover on last year, and basically it's just kind of sat there and percolated like tea. All the leaves and stuff in there have been just kind of leaching into the water for the past 4 or 5 months, and now I got to kind of deal with that. I also discovered that I was going to have to replace the pool vacuum. I kind of knew that that was going to be an issue because when I made repairs to it a year ago, I knew that those were just kind of temporary repairs, weren't going to last forever. Well, they were temporary, and I got the vacuum in the water. It ran for 5 minutes or so, and then it stopped. So obviously that little seal I made didn't hold, and it's just time to replace it. I knew that was going to have to happen at some point, and now is that point. We also got the sand out of the filter, and the filter housing is ready for some new sand. Now, I couldn't go and get supplies yesterday because in Texas a lot of places are closed on Sundays, and the pool place is one of them. But they are open today, so we're gonna run over to the pool place. We're gonna get a new pool vacuum, we're gonna get some new sand, and we're gonna start working on this thing. Now, I visited these guys last summer because they're sort of the biggest pool supplier in the area. And at the time I discovered that these are the guys that the previous owners went to when they bought the pool, because they were able to print me out an invoice of everything I have. So this is the best place to go for me to get the stuff I need, because they know exactly what I have, so they're going to be able to give me exactly what I need. I'm expecting that I'm going to have to get 75 pounds of sand, and that costs, I think, about $80, so that's not going to be horribly bad. And I was looking at the pool vacuums. They're going to probably run $1,200 to $1,400, and you know what, that's something you got to do. That's part of owning a pool. You just got to be able to deal with the money. So it's a little bit of a drive as compared to like the Leslie's pool supply place that I've been to a few times, but because, like I said, they know exactly what I have, I'm going to get the right stuff, so it's worth the time to drive there and get what I need. Alright, so got that all taken care of. It turned out to be a little less expensive than I was fearing, so that's a good thing. They had 3 different models of the robot. The low-end one was about $700, the middle-level one was about $1,100, and the high-end one was $1,500. I elected to go with the middle-level one. The low-level one only does the floor of the pool, and that was kind of an issue. I kind of like the ones that scale the walls. The mid-level one will scale the walls and clean all the way up to the water line, and that's a good. And then the high-level one, it did all of that, but it also had a little app that you can control it with your cell phone, and that's unnecessary. So at least unnecessary for me. I don't need that. One of the cool things I like about this, there was one thing I didn't like about the old one, and that is when you ran one cycle, that was the end of it, and you had to stop and wait for like 10, 12, 15 hours before you could run another cycle. And if it didn't clean the whole pool, then you know, you're just out of luck for however long it took the thing to reset. This one will, if it doesn't finish completely in one cycle, you can press the button again and start a second cycle, and it'll run. It'll run again. It also is on an automatic timer, so if you set it for a 2-hour cycle, it'll run a 2-hour cycle and stop automatically, and then tomorrow at the same time, it'll start up again, run another cycle. So that's actually a very cool feature. And so I'm going to definitely like this pump or this vacuum better than the previous one. Another thing I'm going to like about this one is this one's going to be a lot easier to clean. There's a basket that's on the top of the robot this time, and so that makes it easy. You can just pull the thing up to the surface, pull the basket out, clean the basket, throw it back in there, have it back in the pool, and you're ready to go again. The old one, you actually had to pull pull the vacuum out of the water, flip it upside down, and pull the bottom off of it. And then there was like a bag that had all the debris in it, and it was a real pain to clean that up. So this is going to be a lot easier. It's a better option, and even the guy in the store said that this was going to be a better vacuum than the old style one that I had. I also misread the invoice before. I thought I was going to need 75 pounds of sand, but I was actually looking at the filter housing today before I left, and it was saying something about 250, 350, 400 pounds of sand. And in reality, that's what I needed, is 5 bags of sand or 225 pounds of it. So we got 225 pounds of sand, we got a new robot, and we should be back in business. Let's go home and put it all in the water. Alright, so there's my 250 pounds of sand and my new robot. So we're going to go get this stuff installed. I want to do a little bit more cleanup around the area where the filter housing is before I put the sand into the filter, because once you get 225 pounds of sand in that thing's a pain to move. So it's easier to move now. I got it out of the way. Let's clean the area up real well, because a lot of leaves and stuff have accumulated in there in the past year, and now's the time to clean it up when there's nothing there. So I'm going to do that. Then we're going to get the robot in the pool, and we're going to get going from there. And look who's up. Now I think the first thing I want to do, even before I put the robot in the water, is I want to get in here with a net and try and get as much of the leaf material out by hand as possible, so I don't have to have my new robot sucking up all the leaf waste right off the bat. Let's let it, let's try and keep it new for a while here. So we'll go around here with a net. Like I said, I didn't get most of this stuff out of here before I covered the pool up this year, and that's sort of what made it a mess. So I got most of the leaf waste out, and I know the water actually looks a lot worse now because I stirred up a lot of gunk that was in the pool, but some clarifying chemicals in there will help with that, and when I get the filter running a little bit, that'll help with that. So I think the next thing I'm going to do now is let's get this area ready here to the point where we can put the filter housing back on this block, get it filled with sand, and raise the water level up and start running some filtration on this. Okay, I got the filter housing back into position. I got the sand inside of it. That's 225 pounds of sand. What I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to fill up the filter housing with water, so that when I do start running water through here from the pool, that will already be filled up, and I won't have to start with getting it filled up. Then I'm going to put the cover back on, hook everything back up, and I think the next thing I got to do then is I got to bring the water level up in the pool. And once I get the water level rising in the pool, that's going to take 6 or 8 hours easy to bring that up, because my experience is, bringing it up 2 inches in the pool takes about 2 hours. So yeah, maybe even 6 or 8 hours, that might be a low estimate. We might be talking 12 hours of running water into here, but we got a long ways to go on here. But you know what, we're making progress, and got to do it. If you want to have a nice pool, you gotta do it. So we'll get working on that. I think I'm gonna, like I said, fill up the filter housing first, then we're gonna put the water in here and start filling this thing up. Alright, so I got water in the filter housing. We're going to put the cover on now. We're going to rehook up the pump, and at that point we'll start filling up the water in the pool, and when the water level gets to a certain level where we can begin turning on the pump and running things again, we'll do that. So lots going to happen in the next very few hours here, so let's get going. Alright, got everything hooked back up again. We got the valves open. So at this point, we're ready to start filling up the pool again, topping it off, and supposedly what'll happen is when the water level reaches the minimum level here of the skimmer, then the water will start pouring into here. We'll fill up the pump, and once we get to the point where there's enough water going into the skimmer that it can supply the pump, then we can turn the pump on and start the whole thing working. But next thing I want to do also is I want to get the pool vac in there. So we're going to do that. Now, I've set up a time-lapse camera on the other side because I think it's going to be interesting to watch the water fill up as it goes. So, you know, I got it set to shoot one frame every 30 seconds. So basically you'll be looking at this at about 1,000 times normal speed, and hopefully that'll look normal and you'll be able to watch the water level come up in here. So I got the new pool robot out, and I'm kind of looking at it, and one of the things I was reading on the package that I really kind of like is that there's actually two filtration settings. There's sort of this coarse filtration setting that comes in the filter box, and then a very fine, almost a HEPA type filter that goes in here. It came with these installed. I pulled them out and put the HEPA ones in there initially because I got a lot of garbage I got to filter out of here, and I want to try and get as much of it out with this thing as possible. So we're going to pop this in. Basically, this is how you put the filter housing in there, and then when I need to, I just need to open up the top, pull the little box out, empty it out, pop it back in, and close it up, and we're ready to go again. So I like this one right off the bat a lot better than the old one because this one makes it so much easier to clean out the filter. Let's get this thing in the water. Alright, this is a new controller for the robot. The robot itself is already in the water, and I've kind of spread the cables out. According to this, I just press the go button and it should start running. At this point, I've got 3 different modes here. One here that will make it run every day for 7 days. One that'll make it run 4 times in 7 days, or one that'll make it run 3 times in 7 days. So it should be running right now as it appears. I definitely see some movement under there. So looks like this thing is doing its job here. You can see the water swirling around up there. That's there's a little propeller in there that basically pushes away from it, so it keeps it on the bottom, and it also helps it rise up when it goes up the walls. So that's an important part of all this, and right now it appears it's working. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and we are going to start putting some water in here. And I've brought the water level up about 12 inches. I gotta admit, I am not looking forward to my water bill this month. But like I said, we got everything running. The pump has been running now for several hours, and like I said, we're up to the kind of the maximum level of the skimmer right now. I'm having a little bit of an issue with the water flow on the pump. I think we still got an issue there. We may have to replace the pump after all. But I do say I'm very, very happy with the pool vacuum. I've cycled it 3 times during this, and it's running really well. And so that's a good thing. But like I said, I might have to replace the pump also, and so we may end up going back to the pool place tomorrow and getting a new pump. Like I said, I got more money to do that, so It's a setback, but that's the way it kind of works. I did notice that the pool pump was running, it seemed a little less than normal before, and I just thought maybe that was because the sand in the filter housing was having problems, but it's still having an issue. There isn't enough, quite nearly enough water going through there. So I don't know, I may take the pump apart and see if I can figure out what's going on, but you know, I'm probably just gonna have to replace the pump too. So we'll pick this up again tomorrow and check it out, but for now I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.